Hier ist Innsbruck und wir melden uns pünktlich zur Besichtigung hinsichtlich des Finales im Bouldern der Herren. Die Jungs sind gerade unterwegs. Natürlich der Sicherheitsabstand. Die Jungs wunderbar in dieser Besichtigung. Das ist nur eine dieser speziellen Vorzeichen, unter denen diese Summer Series von Austrian Climbing stattfindet. Aber es wird wieder zu lassen. Hier ist die Besichtigung in Gang. Wir nutzen die Zeit, um einmal noch zurückzublicken, denn dieses Innsbruck ist kletterhistorisch gesehen ein ganz spezieller Boden. Hier wurden nicht nur Europameisterschaften ausgetragen, Weltcups, hier fanden auch vor 2 Jahren so etwas wie auch der emotionale Höhepunkt im Klettern Tirol statt, die Weltmeisterschaften. Jockel Schubert, den wir gleich im Finale sehen, hier bei dieser Austrian Climbing Summer Series, der ist damals zum zweifachen Weltmeistertitel geklettert. Die schönsten Momente, Gänsehautmomente von vor 2 Jahren, jetzt noch einmal zum Einstimmen.
右ガバ OK そのまま今度10時ですアンダー右ないですそのまま行っちゃっていいよ
Das Lichtermeer in der Innsbrucker Olympiahalle, da hat man immer noch Gänsehaut, oder? Anna Stör, du bist jetzt auch dazugekommen, ich glaube nur wegen den Bildern, oder?
Auf jeden Fall. Also wenn ich die Bilder von der WM sehe, dann Denke an alle diese spannenden Innsbruck-Momente zurück, egal ob am Marktplatz oder in der Olympiahalle. Das war einfach immer wirklich stimmungsmäßig der Wahnsinn. Wenn du vor Heimpublikum klettern kannst, dann ist das ja das i-Tüpfelchen.
Jetzt bist du natürlich nicht nur wegen dieser Bilder da, sondern heute natürlich auch im englischen Fachkommentar. Und da wollen wir jetzt schon in Deutsch noch wissen, wir befinden uns ja irgendwie in der doppelten Isolationszone. Also Isozone ist man gewohnt im Klettern, aber die Isolation vom Publikum zu Corona-Zeiten oder Post-Corona-Zeiten, was macht es mit dem Athleten?
Ja, das ist schon eine besondere Situation. Man muss sich vorstellen, normalerweise ist man alleine auf der Matte im Finale und hinter einem klatschen 5000 Menschen im Takt zur Musik und haben eigentlich genau das gleiche Ziel wie du, nämlich dass du von ganz unten bis ganz oben zum Top kommst. Und genau dieser Gänsehauteffekt, der fällt heute weg. Und es wird schon interessant zu sehen, wie die Athleten damit umgehen.
Wir werden alles tun. Wir haben musikalisch ja die WM noch einmal mit eingepackt und es ist ja auch für die Athleten endlich wieder ein Moment, wo du in den Wettkampfmodus kommst. Der wurde je unterbrochen. Die haben sich teilweise ja auf Olympische Spiele eingestellt, auf diese Premiere und dann ist einfach nichts. Wie gehst du mit diesem ersten Wettkampf-Adrenalin jetzt wieder um? Oder wie mühsam ist es eigentlich, da wieder reinzufinden?
Ja, das ist natürlich nicht leicht für die Athletinnen und Athleten, da heute hier wieder in das Wettkampf-Feeling reinzukommen. Man muss sich vorstellen, es hat eigentlich die komplette Wettkampfsaison im Klettern komplett über den Haufen gehauen. Normalerweise fangen die Weltcup-Bewerbe im März bereits an. Jetzt ist quasi der erste und einzige bisherige Bewerb der Corona-Zeit. Und es sind nur ausgewählte Athleten dabei. Die sind aber alle heilfroh, dass sie da sein können und bis in die Fingerspitzen motiviert.
Und wir haben uns Tirol natürlich nicht umsonst ausgesucht, denn Tirol ist auch, was das Outdoor-Klettern betrifft, ein echtes Juwel. Und so ein Juwel wollen wir euch jetzt vorstellen im Tiroler Unterland. Eine wirklich atemberaubende Mehrseillängentour.
Das Ganze hat im Prinzip in der Boulderhalle begonnen.
It all started with climbing indoors. We soon realised that the best place to climb in our area is the Schleier waterfall. The first time we were there was at 12 or 13. After that, we spent almost all our time climbing there through until the age of 17 to 18.
Die Kletterrouten Number One is
the first climbing route created in the Schleier waterfall. It was Christian Mariacha who did it. I don't think he knew at the time how popular this area would become as one of the top places in the world for hard climbing.
Markus war mein kleiner Bruder.
Markus was my little brother. I used to make him come with me, so I had someone to try the route with. We didn't tell anyone what we were doing because our parents were strictly against it. They said you have to be crazy to do rock climbing and that people die doing it. They didn't want us as their children to have any part in it.
Our climbing crew was made up of Guido Unterwurtsacher, Matthias Scheistel, Tony Mosshammer, my brother and me. We didn't go skiing in winter. Instead, we went climbing all year round. Spending so much time together creates really close friendships, which we have continued until today.
Eines der absoluten Juwele, die Number One in Going am Wilden Kaiser. Wer wird heute das Juwel? Was für eine Überleitung, Anna. Aber das ist jetzt richtig schwer, weil da sind einige Underdogs mit dabei. Allein in den Top 3, glaube ich, 2, die jetzt nicht unbedingt als die großen Weltcup-Dominatoren gelten.
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Wir haben Weltcupsieger Sascha Lehmann am Start und natürlich der Weltmeister Jakob Schubert. Aber die anderen 4 sind eigentlich wirkliche Underdogs. Und es wird sehr spannend sein zu sehen, wer sich hier heute den Titel von der ersten Austrian Climbing Summer Series holt.
Ja, dann schauen wir uns diese Underdogs einmal an und beginnen mit der Nummer 3 nach dem Semifinale. Das ist Christoph Schweiger, 18 Jahre jung, aus Deutschland.
Ja genau, der Christoph hat überrascht, weil er gleich beim ersten Semifinal Boulder mit einem Flash überzeugt hat und dann auch noch das Top im zweiten Boulder geholt hat. Also die Form im Semifinale hat auf jeden Fall gepasst. Der Jakob Schubert nach ihm hat gleich mit einem Flash nachgezogen, aber er hat dann wirkliche Probleme gehabt bei Boulder Nummer 2 und Boulder Nummer 4.
Das werden wir, glaube ich, noch sehen, weil so knapp geht es wirklich ganz selten zu. Eine einzige Anzahl und da sehen wir diese Zone. Wenn er sie erreicht, ist er dabei. Wenn er sie nicht erreicht, ist er nicht einmal im Finale.
Genau, und da hat es wirklich die Entscheidung der Judges gebraucht, um zu sagen, hat das jetzt als Zonen gegolten oder nicht. Aber der Jakob ist durch, die Zone ist eingetragen worden.
Und jetzt sehen wir noch die Nummer 1 nach dem Semifinale, Philipp Martin.
Genau, auch der Philipp hat erst einige wenige Weltcup-Einsätze und hat wirklich überrascht, dass er jetzt als Sieger im heutigen Finale steht. Da ist er wahrscheinlich selbst ein wenig überrascht. Aber er ist sehr gut geklettert, hat wirklich eine gute Performance abgeliefert und ich bin gespannt, was er uns heute im Finale noch zeigen wird.
Das sind die Top 3 im Semifinale und Jakob Schubert, nur noch einmal zum Verinnerlichen, hätte er die Zone nicht gewertet bekommen, ist er raus, ist er 7. Jetzt ist er als die Nummer 2 in diesem Finale. Hat er gewusst im Semifinale bei diesem allerletzten Versuch, wie knapp es ist?
Ja, ich habe natürlich schon mitgekriegt, dass es sehr knapp hergeht. Von dem her habe ich mich gerade beim letzten Boulder auf jeden Fall auch bemüht, den Bonus so schnell wie möglich zu holen. Also ich habe gerade schon mitgekriegt, dass es mit dem Flow sehr knapp mit den Bonusversuchen sogar ist. Und von den anderen habe ich es jetzt nicht gewusst, aber ich habe gewusst, ich muss jetzt um alles kämpfen, dass ich da noch ins Finale komme. Von dem habe ich mich echt konzentriert, dass ich den Bonus gleich im ersten Versuch hole und war dann sehr überrascht, dass ich ihn zuerst nicht bekommen habe. Dann hat es geheißen, ich bin ausgeschieden, jetzt ist der Einspruch durchgegangen und ja, jetzt ist es doch noch ausgegangen, Gott sei Dank.
Ist so ein knapper Wettkampf nach so einer langen Wettkampfpause ganz nach deinem Geschmack?
Ja, ich meine irgendwie, natürlich, normalerweise sucht man sich schon lieber aus, dass man gemütlich in die nächste Runde kommt, sage ich einmal. Aber ich muss sagen, in dem Moment jetzt lebe ich den Wettkampf so viel wie schon lange nicht mehr.
Und da ist er wieder in seinem Wettkampfmodus. Anna, ganz kurz, wer wird's machen? Underdog oder Routinier?
Na, also ich setze heute wirklich auf die Erfahrung. Der Jakob hat im Halbfinale schon Glück gehabt, jetzt muss er zeigen, was er drauf hat.
Und damit steigen wir ein und lassen es krachen. Das Finale der Männer in der Austrian Climbing Summer Series, Part 1. Be better part of it. Wir
Good evening and welcome back to Innsbruck, round 4 of this competition that we've had today. We've had the women's semi-finals, the men's semi-finals, the women's final, and finally it's 8:30 at night. Here as the sun sets over the Tyrolean mountain, it is time for the men's final. Charlie Bosco here with Anna Storr, once again having made the trip back from the stage to the commentary box. We've been at it all day and it is just great to see climbing back on the big screen. Enjoyed every minute of it so far, and one final to watch. Don't worry though, you will get your fix again. Next week we'll be back with exactly the same programme for the second round of this Austrian Climbing Summer Series. First climber out onto the mats in this men's final, first of 6, the regulation 6 climbs through, and as with a typical World Cup final, you get 4 minutes each per boulder. Climbers have already done their inspections, their observation. And young Max Kleesattel making pretty light work of things up to the zone. Interesting final this. Only 2 of the climbers taking part of it have even been in a boulder semi-final at World Cup level. So for everyone apart from Sascha Lehmann and Jakob Schubert, this represents a big step up in terms of standard. They won't often have climbed alongside climbers of the calibre of Jakob and Sascha. Max being one of those 4 climbers that hasn't been in a Boulder World Cup semi-final or final before. But he looked good in the qualifiers, backed it up in the semi-finals and came through in 6th place. If you watched our coverage of the semi-final, we ended the broadcast with confusion about who was qualified and why. I personally thought Jakob Schubert had got the zone, and on appeal the judges agreed. So Jakob makes his way in. It's Florian Klingler who missed out. And we end up with 2 Germans, a Swiss climber and 3 Austrians.
Yeah, and hello also from my side. Anna Storr here.
And it is your side as well. We're kind of socially distanced.
Yeah, that's true.
At the opposite end of the table.
A good distance between Charlie and me here. Yeah, the semi-final has been surprising in many ways. I would have expected to have Yannick Floe, who placed third at the Bouldering World Championship last year in Hachioji, but he's out of the final. Instead, we have Max out on the mats, and he's joined by 2 team colleagues of the German team and almost makes the top in Boulder number 1. Strong performance by Max Kleesattel.
Yeah, he's going really well so far. A decent first attempt, got the zone on his first go and looked even better that time. But this is a huge step up for him, as I say, from where he's been before.
Yeah, he has had 3 World Cup starts so far. No final yet. He placed 27th at the European Championship in bouldering in Zakopane last year and was 10th at the European Youth Championship in Slani in Czech in 2017. So it's interesting, I think, for him to actually climb in all 3 rounds, because that might be a new experience, apart from German championships, obviously, but on the international sphere.
See the judge down there wearing the mask. Obviously this is a coronavirus competition, and have to say now it looks more like a World Cup than ever, with the wall all lit up and the rest of the hall almost dark.
Yeah, on the screen it definitely does. You can't tell that there's a huge difference. In here in this stadium, actually, there are no spectators. Only the other climbing competitors are allowed to watch, and only the men. The women will watch from the live stream. Yeah, there are a lot of restrictions and a lot of precautions due to the current situation we're in.
So up to the zone, it was second go, best go for Max. Off he goes. If you haven't watched any of our broadcasts earlier on today, you'll also not know that one of the big changes is that climbers bring their, well, they don't bring their own brush, they get given a brush at the start of the round and they keep that brush all the way through. We don't have any brushes, we don't have any sharing of brushes. So you'll see the climbers come on with their brush and take it off with them every time. One of the 2 climbers who has been at the business end of a Boulder World Cup and a Lead World Cup, he is of course a Lead World Cup winner, Sasha Lehmann, best finish in the Boulder World Cups of 4th. Picked that up in Chongqing last year in Western China. The hottest day I've ever been at a climbing competition, as I said earlier on.
Although summer has arrived to Innsbruck as well, it's quite warm in here. Warmer for the women, of course, who just climbed their finals a little bit before the men. And now it's kind of starting to cool down, but not as cold as you'd like it to be if you're out on the mats trying to hold these holds.
The hole seems to be on a delay. It's quite a nice temperature outside, but still quite warm in here. It's as if the hole takes longer to warm up and it takes longer to cool down as well.
Yeah, definitely. It takes some time until this stadium will be cooled down. We're actually just behind the Kletterzentrum. Some of you might know where it's at. The Kletterzentrum is obviously the place to train in Innsbruck. And the Austrian Federation has an agreement with the Athletics Federation of Austria. That's why we're able to use the athletics arena. This is where this wall has been set up. And Sasha is now chalking up for his next attempt on boulder number 1.
Yeah, Sasha, good go on the first attempt. The boulder looks very toppable, I have to say. Max Kleesattel got pretty close to the top. Not too much to read on this boulder, pretty much outright power. Sasha just left foot coming loose, and as it swung behind him, just pulled him off.
Sasha stuck the zone, but not close to the top yet. If you're wondering why a Swiss athlete is attending the Austrian Climbing Summer Series, it's because the Swiss and the German team were able to send 4 athletes to this summer series, and of course we, or the Austrian Federation, would have loved to have the whole world attend, but due to the current situation that's not possible. But numbers were good 2 months ago in Switzerland and Germany, and that's why the Ministry of Sport of Austria said that it would be okay to let Germans and Swiss athletes compete. And I think for the athletes it's actually an advantage to be able to compare themselves again, somehow at least.
Yeah, although the results a bit, we won't give the results away of the women's final in case people aren't watching them in order, but didn't go the way you would necessarily expect it. And
no,
let's see if this men's
surprise.
final goes the same. Sasha, I think, struggling slightly with his skin. A couple of times he's looked down at his hands.
Yeah, and of course if you climb 3 rounds in a bouldering round, then it's really tough on your skin. These volumes are brand new, and the more attempts you have to make, the less skin you'll have at the end of the day. He was already struggling a little bit in semi-finals. He did have a couple of attempts, so maybe that's why his skin is not the best anymore.
Yeah, sliding off these volumes when you're pinching them is really not great for the skin either. But Sasha, this will certainly be his last go. Already been to the zone, and that is as far as he's going to get. Got the zone on his second attempt. His time is up, and now it's Stefan Rest, who's never even taken part in a World Cup.
No, he's definitely the young gun to watch in this final. He has no World Cup start so far. He's the only one of the whole field who did not attend the World Cup yet, but that's because he's in the youth team. He's also the youngest, one of the youngest today. Christoph is 18 years old and Stefan is 19. So those are the 2 youngest. Stefan won the Austrian Cup in Klagenfurt in the juniors category. He is from Salzburg, which is 2 hours east of Innsbruck.
Pulls on now for his first attempt. He's burned quite a lot of time just brushing, making sure the boulder's clean. Just struggle with that first move. You've got to get the timing right, and it's powerful as well, even when you get hold of it. Even if you get the timing right, quite tough to hold on to. You've got to squeeze with the right hand. Qualifiers for the men, maybe a little bit too easy, so the route setters have really turned the difficulty up a little bit. Men's semi-final was hard, and final looking that way as well so far, albeit we're very early on.
Yeah, and also Stefan is looking at his hand, as did Sasha just before. I think they're all running low on skin. Of course, skin can be a decisive factor when it comes to holding these volumes. Trying to focus though, and he's trying not to think about his skin too much. Rubbing off the chalk on his shoes and going for another attempt.
Here he goes. Oh, that's more like it. Looks solid all the way through that move.
Can he get the zone? Come on, Stefan. Yeah. He has the zone on boulder number 1.
Can hear a lot of members of Team Austria, or the coaches of Team Austria shouting a lot, making an awful lot of a disproportionate amount of noise.
Yeah, of course, the Austrian team is the biggest team here right now. It's the summer series of the Austrian Federation, and a lot of the youth athletes and the national team athletes are able to attend this competition alongside 4 Swiss and 4 German climbers.
This is really saving his energy. This is mature climbing for a climber who hasn't really competed at this level before. Not rushing.
No, he's definitely having a good timing so far, I would say. He knows that he has to take his time. It is a physical boulder. If he rushes it, he might run out of energy.
That is the beep to signal 1 minute left of this attempt. Stabbing that right foot up. Here he is on the zone. That's a big move up to that orange hold. He's progressing up the boulder. The question is whether he can progress enough in the time remaining.
Yeah, he only has one more attempt. Time is running. But maybe he'll be able to show us one more good attempt.
Having no problem with that move. This staying on the zones proved difficult. What about this move? Oh, he's close. I think if he had another 4 minutes, he'd probably find a way.
Yeah, but as you could see, that last volume is really, really bad. Super slopey hold, and a very good job from Stefan. And we're already down to top 3.
Christoph Schweiger out next. Looked really, really strong in the semi-finals.
Yeah, he came out, crushed problem number 1, just flashed it. A lot of guys had problems before him. And he also did a very good job on problem number 2.
Again, just giving the boulder a good brush before he does anything. Kind of reminds me of a sushi, this boulder. Like the pink is the maguro, you know, the tuna, and
yeah,
the salmon is... I can't remember the word for the salmon.
Missing international travel, are you? This could be his boulder. I mean, he showed us that he has a lot of physical strength. In the semi-final, he just flashed problem number 1. Can he do it again in finals?
Yeah, and even as a shorter climber, he's made that move look an awful lot easier than Stefan Rest did. Kind of static up to the zone. It's certainly not lacking power.
Not quite for Gustav. He has started in 3 World Cups so far. He attended Munich twice, and he was part at the World Cup in Hachioji in 2018. He was 10th at the European Championship for the youth category in Brixen in bouldering last year. So from the youth climbing side, he has some experience, but he's lacking experience in the adult category.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, never made the semi-final, so that's where you really start learning about climbing at this level. But he handled himself brilliantly in the semi-final of this competition. Perhaps getting slightly tired. It felt like the first go was maybe the best one. Gets a liquid chalk out.
Yeah, and the one favorite from Germany, who is Yannick Flohe, did not qualify for the final at the Austrian Summer Series. And 2 other Austrians who would have been on my list, Florian Klingner and Nikolai Uschnik, are not in finals either. But Christoph Schweiger is, and he will show us another attempt soon.
Pulls back on for another go. He's had a good rest, an enforced rest as well, while he waited for his liquid chalk to dry. And here he goes again. No problem with that first move. Foot out wide. Up to the zone. You can tell he's on the limit with that one. This is a big move now up to this orange volume. Oh, I just couldn't quite get his feet sorted.
No, it seems that he really doesn't like that left foothold.
Well, I can see why.
Put his weight on it.
No.
And he has 45 seconds left on the clock. So it'll be enough time for 1 attempt. But that'll be it then.
I will be seriously impressed if he can do it, because he's looking slightly tired from those earlier attempts.
Yeah, and it is definitely a physical boulder, so he has already used some attempts. He's trying a different beta now. No.
Nah, just doesn't quite trust those feet, so he'll have to settle for a zone. Everyone got the zone so far. Both of the Germans, Christoph and Max Kleersattel, got it first go. Everyone else took a couple more attempts.
No, but so far everyone was able to get to the zone, and it'll be interesting to see whether Jakob can show us the first top of boulder number 1.
Here comes Jakob Schubert, a man that needs no introduction, legend of the game, Innsbruck local. It was quite surreal actually. I went to get some food at the Kletterzentrum, and Jakob's just there warming up with the general public. So you've just got, you know, people like me, Jakob, more people like me. It's really quite surreal to watch him in that company, just quietly doing his own thing.
Yeah, that's nice about the Kletterzentrum here, that everyone can climb there. World-class athletes alongside everyone else. And now Jakob is definitely motivated to show us a good performance in this final. Semi-final didn't really go according to plan, but it's a physical boulder, the first one, and usually he kind of likes this style.
Looking pretty strong so far. Jakob had his index finger off that crimp initially, puts it back on. This could be a flash for Jakob. Strong stuff from the local hero. Top of number 1. Flash of number 1.
Yeah, and that definitely gives him a good feeling, because he was not satisfied from his semi-final performance, and he knows that he was a little bit lucky to get through to this final, so he'll make the most of it today.
Did well as well, because his left foot slipped while he was setting for the move. Philip Martin, the final climber out.
Martin placed 3rd at the beach games last year.
Yeah.
He was in Hachioji, couldn't compete though, because he injured his thumb 2 days before the competition. He has placed 23rd in lead and bouldering at World Cup in Chamonix and Munich. Has not climbed into a final yet. And now he's here leading the pack.
Yeah, I mean, deserved in the semi-final. Very strong semi-final. You've already mentioned it a couple of times, but a lot of climbers we would have expected to see in the final didn't make it. But Philip Martin did, and he topped
and
everyone.
He looked strong.
He looks really strong. The key seems to be trusting those feet. Even when Jakob topped the boulder, his feet popped off. You can see that left foot going.
Come on,
Whole
Philip.
body shaking, just trying to hold on to the position. So he's going to finish this first boulder behind Jakob. We know that. He's going to require more attempts. If you are just tuning in, if this is the first action you've watched today, you've got some catching up to do. Charlie Bosco and Anna Sturr here, as we have been all day. And men's final underway. Boulder 1. Final climber out, Philip Martin. After this, the climbers will go all the way to the right-hand side of the wall, a particularly aesthetic boulder awaiting them. First things first.
Come on, Philip.
Just trying to remember, I think, the sequence he used last time.
Wow, it's very hard. Releasing this toe hook is really difficult. But he did it, and now he already reached the hold before the top, as did Stefan just before him. And I think Max was quite close as well. Philip has 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
Yeah, a bit like Jakob, his left foot slipped while he was going for that orange volume.
Yeah, you definitely want to have both feet on the wall, if possible, to be able to hold this hold before the top. It's a very bad sloper. And Philip takes his time before he will go and have his last and final attempt on boulder number 1. Interesting to watch the tactics of these climbers. Because usually, of course, 40 seconds are enough time to top the boulder. But if you slip, gotta get on the wall again. He looks confident though.
Firing through these moves quickly. I think he doesn't want to waste any energy.
But releasing that toe hook looks super hard.
Looks desperate moving out right, and he can't find a way. So Jakob Schubert setting the standard, not only topping the boulder but doing it first go. I mean, a clear favourite, Jakob, to win this competition, and already living up to that. Let's have another look. This was, I think, when his foot slipped.
Yeah, it didn't help. And we have one top for Jakob, and everyone else got the zone, but no other top so far.
Heading over to the slab now. This is a boulder I was talking about. It's stunning. Dual texture volumes all the way. The black bit of all the volumes is low friction, and the yellow sandy bit is high friction. And that's pretty close to the method. Head out left and then kind of lay back all the way up to get yourself in position for a go at the top.
It's always hard to predict how fast you actually have to move on the slab, because if you move too quickly, you might be back on the mats, whereas at some point you have to go for it.
There doesn't appear to be anything to catch with your feet as you go out left.
Now I believe you have to palm it. At least that's what the chief route setter Hirsi Wojcik told me. There's a team of 4 setters here tonight. Hirsi Wojcik, Dirk Ulig from Germany, Andreas Matuszka and Joch Verhoeven set these beautiful boulders for us, and we'll hope to see a lot of tops.
They've had a brutal day. 4 rounds to put up, make changes where possible.
Although, of course, they had the whole week to set.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Still a hard day.
Of course, it's a hard and long day for the route setters, and it's always tough to decide, shall we keep this foot or shall we remove it? Do we make it a little bit harder or easier? Yeah, route setting is a very creative job as well. Sometimes it almost looks like art in my eyes.
I agree, particularly on this boulder. Sometimes it looks like art and sometimes it looks like having a fight.
Yeah.
This one's definitely the art type.
Max is having a hard time on this first move to the left.
Got a new
Trying
theory
a different
here.
method now, which looks promising. Boy, yeah. This is not what the route setters had in mind, but sometimes you gotta think outside the box.
That's really creative to think of that.
Yeah, as an athlete, it's not so easy to get the right method. And sometimes if it doesn't quite work out, you have to be able to think about other ways to solve the boulders.
He likes the method.
Yeah, Max did find a different beta.
Yeah, the trick is getting your feet up while your hand is there.
"30 seconds for Max. Come on now. This attempt is the one that counts."
The zone is actually just the volume above the one he's had his hand on. He's got 1 minute to go. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard a beep. He's got much less than 1 minute to go.
10 seconds.
Minute goes by fast at this level.
Especially on the slab, it sometimes feels as if the time is just running away.
So Max, one zone for him on the first boulder, nothing on the second one. Sascha Lehmann out next. Hugely successful in the Swiss Cups, and as I mentioned earlier, lead World Cup winner, Boulder World Cup finalist, bona fide all-rounder.
Yeah, and he's also climbing a lot outside. In Switzerland, there are a lot of crags. He just spent some time in Raoul, where he climbed the 9A, so he seems to be in shape. He told me that there are 40-meter routes, but they're actually bouldery sections, so he feels prepared. Although, of course, nobody is 100% prepared right now. These are strange times that we're in.
Takes another minute. Already had a second to look at it, Sascha Lehmann. Perhaps lining up for another go. So he's not spotted, I don't think anyone else will, the Max Kleesattel method.
Yeah, this first move is definitely really tough. Sascha is struggling, but Max did as well, so it'll be interesting to see who will be able to find the method that works for him.
So Sascha going really quickly.
Change of methods, yeah, it is a good idea. Might not have felt 100%, but we'll see if he tries that method again.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see here. Does he go slowly? Does he try that quick method again? Hard to imagine the quick method working.
I think he'll
but
go fast,
that's
yeah.
what he's going for again. I see what he's trying to do.
Yeah, if he manages to get the foot out right at the same time, maybe that could work. But as an athlete, it's so hard to decide what method you're actually going to go for. I guess both ways kind of feel possible for him. Which way is he committing to?
Sascha just pausing, now pulling on again. And is he looking for that Max Kleesattel method? I think he looked like he was feeling underneath the hold. Decides this time to go slowly. Sadly, the same outcome.
Almost. He's deciding to brush the holds again. Especially on the slab, it's important not to have a lot of excess chalk on these holds. You want to have the best friction possible. But he knows that this will be his last real attempt on boulder number 2.
Oh, went quickly again. I don't think he's quite decided which method is best. He's tried both multiple times.
Sometimes it's really hard to know. If you have mediocre feeling in all methods, then which one are you going to go for? Come on, Sascha.
And that will be it for Sascha Lehmann. So no zones from either of the first two climbers out. Stefan Rest out next. We mentioned it earlier, never even competed in a World Cup, so this is a huge experience for him.
Yeah, Stefan is part of the Austrian Climbing Youth team. He was 9th at the European Youth Cup in Delft in 2018. And now it's his first time on the big stage with the old competitors. Or with the adult category. Let's put it that way.
As he did last time on Boulder 1, comes out and immediately does some housekeeping.
Yeah, but I believe that's quite a good idea, good tactics there from Stefan.
Absolutely.
Because it is important to actually brush the holds, take a good look at the boulder again, not rush things. And yeah, he makes a very experienced impression on me when it comes to his tactics. Usually he enjoys slabs, so let's see.
He's reasonably tall as well, so he should be able to, if he got stood up, should be able to reach out left a little easier than a climber like Sasha.
He also takes the chalk bag with him. Sometimes in a slab it can come in handy if you find yourself in a position where you can actually use the chalk, and it's still quite warm in this arena, so could be an advantage for him. Come on, Stefan.
Gets stood up again. Look at that, great camera angle. You see him just lost in concentration.
Yeah, that was a really good angle. Of course, the lights are also heating up.
It's hot in here now.
It's definitely warm. I mean, it was warmer before. I think the coldest round or the coolest round was semi-final for the women in the morning. Now it's definitely a summer day here in Innsbruck.
It's a summer evening. It's yeah, still very warm.
But all climbers have the same conditions, so they'll have to deal with the heat. Come on,
creeping
Stefan.
across. By slab standards, it is very steep. This about 87 degrees the wall, so pretty close to vertical. Just over a minute remaining. Would be good to see someone progress on this boulder.
Oh, I'm sure we will see a zone and maybe even a top on boulder number 2.
Here he goes again. Only wants to know about the slow method. Eating over, trying to use the screw hole just to give him a little bit of something to get some purchase on.
I think he's not 100% sure whether his method is the correct one. Now he's trying the fast way, yep.
Yeah, you read that. 20 seconds to go. He can have one more go. I mean, realistically, he'll have to do the quick method. He just won't have time to do anything else. And no joy. So nobody yet really made any progress on this one. 3 climbers in. Christoph Schweiger up next. Flashed the zone on Boulder 1. See there, Jakob Schubert leading the way. 1 boulder, 1 top, 1 attempt. Doesn't get much better than that.
And Max was the only one so far to claim the zone on boulder number 2.
Yeah, and it took him 6 attempts as well.
And now it's the second part of the field, top 3 from semi-final. And that's Christoph Schweiger, 18 years young, from Germany. He's taking less time than Stefan before him to read the boulder again. He's opting for the slower version, slower method. Let's see. Almost. That looked
pretty
quite
controlled.
solid, actually. Yeah. I think he'll try that again. And only Max so far used the underclean. get to the zone.
Yeah, Sasha looked like he considered it briefly. He kind of turned his hand round, but didn't pursue it.
Yeah, and it looks as if Christoph is not using it either. He's trying to get slowly over to the bonus hold. And almost sticks it. Tricky move.
Yeah, the zone is the one, I can't quite see it actually. It's the smallest of the volumes on the boulder. It's just above the hole that they're rolling to with the left hand.
Come on, Christoph. And it's so hard to actually change your method if you feel as if you're so close. And I think that's what Christoph feels right now. He almost sticks the zone, but can't quite get it together. It'll be interesting to see whether he changes his sequence or whether he sticks to the method he's been trying so far. Using a very soft shoe, which is usually good for these volumes.
Climbers just not, they're getting across, but they're just not managing to stay there.
But he looks incredibly close, I have to say.
These are the micro calculations that route setters are making though. Do we put a little jib to help them there? Do we not put a jib? Do we tilt the volume 5 degrees so it becomes a bit more positive?
Yeah, route setting is a nerve-wracking job for sure. Because you always feel like, I should not have turned it maybe this way. They did a very good job so far, and wow!
Oh, I'm still not quite sure how he's still on the boulder, but he is. And he's now really entering the final section. He's got the zone.
Yeah, and Christoph was the first one to actually stick the right foot out, and wow!
Where did that come from?
He just topped the boulder without even using the last volume.
Wow!
Good job.
I'd love to see that front on. Because
I want to watch the replay. And here it is.
The move before that, he must have got his right foot up so quickly. Yeah, and he just completely ignored that last big volume.
Goes for it, yeah. Double dyno to the top hold. Wow.
I bet it was a nightmare getting that on for the route setters as well, and it just gets ignored.
Yeah, there are always multiple ways to solve the boulder. And now, of course, the pressure is on Jakob Schubert because he knows that Chris just stopped. And he also knows that the slab is not his biggest strength. Of course, he is a world-class athlete. He has won Bouldering World Cups 3 times already. So he knows what it means to be under pressure. And I'm interested to see Jakob's slab performance.
Yeah, 21 World Cup wins in total, Jakob Schubert. First chance to have a look at this rollover move.
Yeah, and he really needs to get his right foot up, as did Christoph before him. That was the key to stick the bonus or the zone. Only Max was able to stick the zone with the undercling there. But then he couldn't move out of the position.
Jakob just taking another look. I think pondering his method. Maybe he didn't feel very secure as he went out left. Yeah, 21 World Cup wins for Jakob. He's got a bit of experience. Still 1 short of the Austrian record for World Cup wins.
It depends. I mean, Angie Aita won 25 World Cups in her career. She's leading the pack in lead. And then there's someone else, and then there's Jakob. And Kilian has as many World Cup wins. That is 21.
He could get the Austrian men's record. Austrian men's record. Sorry, Angie. Was she up to 25?
Angie won 25 World Cups in her career and 4 World Champion titles. Yeah, but Jakob won 21, which is an impressive number. Triple World Champion as well. And he only has 1 minute and 35 seconds left.
Really needs this, Jakob. He's currently in second place, but the final is in his hands because he's already got the lead from the first boulder.
Of course, it would boost his confidence when he could top this boulder. It would give him a very comfortable position to be in. Yeah, but it doesn't look as if he enjoys this slab so far.
Here he goes.
Come on, Jakob. Yeah, and of course this puts a lot of pressure on the athletes. If you know that the one just before you has topped and somehow it doesn't work out according to plan on your own performance, it's not a good or a comfortable situation to be in. And somehow it is important to block all of this out. You need to concentrate on your own performance. Come on, Jakob. Yeah.
You can see his right knee heavily strapped, by the way, Jakob, but if you didn't see our semi-finals, he removed quite a lot of skin falling off one of the boulders.
Yeah,
so
he tried to use his knee on boulder number 2 in semi-finals.
He's willing to suffer for his tops, that's for sure. And no zone there, so no joy on the slab for Jakob.
Yeah, he was off to a good start on boulder number 1. Of course, now he's not satisfied with his performance on the slab. And Schweiger Christoph is now leading this final, one top with those 2 zones.
Philip Martin could take the lead here if he does this boulder quickly. Yeah, I think frustration will be the main emotion for Jakob.
Yeah, although he's such an experienced climber, he also knows that there are 2 more boulders to go. And if he's angry right now, that won't help him. He needs to control his emotions and focus on the last 2 problems. That's important in bouldering. And Philip is now on boulder number 2. But this first move proves to be very difficult.
Yeah, it got top 1 seemingly out of nowhere. Christoph Schweiger wasn't making that much progress on it and suddenly fired up it.
Yeah, that right foot was so important to actually get the foot up at the same time while moving over to the left-hand side. And it's really not obvious if you stand in front of the boulder. I don't think I would have read it that way.
Presumably he'll go slow again here because he looked pretty comfortable first time round. He's got a big span so he can get across without having to really commit to it. And he knows he needs to get that right foot up, but knowing you need to do it and actually doing it are 2 very different things. He's claimed a zone.
But now he's in a good spot, Philip Martin. He might be able to see the second top on boulder number 2.
He's actually using the second to last volume, unlike his compatriot.
Yeah,
now he's not.
Tapping it, but opting straight for the dyno. And top on boulder number 2 for Philip Martin.
Well, the Germans are showing how it's done on the slabs. He tops it as well, so 3 climbers on a top now, nobody with 2 tops. It's going to be very close on the last 2 boulders. Let's have another look. Stepped out left. Thought about using that huge volume, kind of felt around on it, looking for a good place to use it. Didn't like it at all. So dropped back down and just went from the zone. Went up full of confidence. So Philip Martin actually leads the way. Led the way in the semi-final, qualified first, hence him climbing last in the final, and then Christoph Schweiger and Jakob Schubert, the other two climbers, with a top Max Kleersattel in fourth place, Sascha Lehmann fifth, and Stefan Rest in sixth place midway through.
And boulder number 3 is on the left-hand side of the wall, which is the steeper part. So from the slab directly to the more physical boulder. And Max gets the zone. Can't quite move out of the position yet. I'm sure he's motivated by the two tops of his teammates. Sometimes it's nice if you have a comparison, if you know that you are the same level, you know that you can compete with these guys. So
well, it's a really good point, because the only people they've had to compare themselves to are their teammates. So you know where you are relative to your teammates, but so the interesting thing is where you stack up compared to everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And also in the World Cup, it might help if some of your teammates are in front of you, then you know if they top, you know that you can do the same. Sometimes it helps, other times it puts pressure on you. Always different situations.
Trying again, it's an awkward start position. Struggling to repeat his early attempt. Flashed the zone. Couldn't convert it to a top. Certainly no gimme the last move. It's a long way to that top hold.
I think Max was able to get all 3 zones so far.
Yep, all 3. Flashed the first one and the third one, and he got the second one on his 6th attempt.
But of course he's aiming for the top. Oh, crimping hard on this right-hand crimp.
It's not that comfortable to watch. I can't imagine it's that comfortable to do.
Come on, Max. Now he sticks the zone with the left hand, and he has to get over to the other green volume. Can't quite hold it yet.
Used a lot of energy on the lower moves there.
Yeah, taking a look at the clock. And we just heard the 1-minute beep. Doesn't give him a lot of time to relax. But usually, as an athlete, you know that if you have 40 seconds left on the clock, that should be enough for a proper attempt. Although no slipping allowed. Yeah, and since he fell at the first move, he can give it one more try. But then that'll be his last and final attempt.
So no joy. Does pick up a zone though. He's been to the zone on every boulder.
Yeah, shakes his head there. Had one really good attempt.
Let's have another look. This is when he slapped out to the right. Found the sweet spot of the volume.
Yeah, couldn't quite hold it. I mean, you really have to compress these 2 volumes. But Max has 3 zones and 1 more boulder to go. Of course, Sascha will be motivated now to show what he's got. Come on, Sascha. Uses a different method than Max. He doesn't change hands, but goes directly with the left hand to this crimp, and now goes again. That looks actually very good. Come on now.
Looking really solid on this attempt, Sascha Lehmann. Now just needs to keep squeezing those volumes, get the feet high, launch for the top. He touched it, but he was just a little short.
Wow, but that was close, and I think he knows that he can get to the top of that boulder. The lower part looked very solid, and a good method there from Sasha. So now he'll be taking his time, hopefully, trying to relax a little bit.
We've got some very mellow piano music. We're used to kind of Euro pop and classic rock, but very mellow music for Sasha to relax to.
Yeah, I think sometimes it is important to actually take your time, even if 4 minutes are running by fast. But if you know that you can top this boulder, why do you have to rush it? 40 seconds, as we said, are enough to top a boulder. And I think he's doing a good job from his tactic-wise, that he's actually taking a time, trying to get back some energy, because it is tiring to have an attempt in such a powerful boulder.
It really is taking a long pause here, Sasha.
Yeah, and it absolutely makes sense. I mean, he knows the method, he knows what he's got to do. And he's starting his second attempt with 1 minute and 20 seconds on the clock.
Big grimace on his face as he sets himself up to go for the zone again. So he switched to an undercling with the right hand. Bang up to the zone, outright. Got no problem holding that. This is probably it for Sasha Lehmann. And again gets the right hand there. Can't get the left to join it.
Yeah, the problem is the top hold is not a jog. Maybe he was a little bit too fast there. But of course he has to go that dynamically. He's a shorter climber. And
it'll be an impressive effort if he can do it, but I think he'll probably leave it as late as he possibly can, which is probably 25 seconds-ish.
yeah, 25 would be enough, and he needs some time to rest. But of course, well, that was a tiring attempt just before, so it would be, maybe he can surprise us with the top here on boulder number 3. Come on, Sasha.
Head goes back as he throws up to the zone. You can hear the clock ticking
he's trying
down.
hard.
And the clock denies him.
Sadly not enough. He secured the bonus zone hold. But no top for Sasha Lehmann on boulder number 3.
That was probably the closest he got. I think that was the first attempt at the top, was maybe slightly closer than the second. But no top. Stefan Rest now. So both climbers out so far have flashed the zone. They got their first go. We're on World Cup rules, so most important way we separate the climbers is who gets the most tops, and then it's who gets the most zone holds. If you haven't watched climbing before, you can see the clearly marked zone hold there, right at the top of your screen, midway up the boulder. Both climbers so far have got it first go.
Stefan was able to get the zone on the first boulder. No zone for him on the second one. But hopefully he'll be able to get the zone on boulder number 3. Come on. It's a tricky position, this start. The hold he's rushing right now is definitely not good.
No, it's a really funny shaped hold, that one. Very strange shape.
Yeah.
Like a little...
Not my favorite type of hold, but...
It's like the end of your thumb or something. It's a really odd shape. Taller climber as well. It looks like it's a little bit harder for him to fit underneath that second big red volume.
Yeah, could be a little bit weird position-wise, but because all he's thinking about is not whether he likes or dislikes a certain position, but he wants to get to the zone. And we can see here Sivoy took the sheaf root setter just underneath the clock on your left hand.
I was thinking there's pressure.
Right, yeah. Of course, he also wants to see a top on boulder number 3. Root setting is a very tough job. All these boulders are climbable, but it always depends on so many different issues if the climbers are actually able to do it. And he's looking at his finger.
Yeah, really suffering. We've got a good close-up. I don't think he's cut.
Stefan is taking his time, chalking up again, looking at the boulder. Come on, you can do it.
Pulls back on, you can see, gets himself in a stable starting position.
Yes.
He's really struggling with his right hand. Minute left.
Yeah, Stefan was one of the climbers who used a couple of attempts in semi-finals, and of course you can feel that on your skin. The more attempts you need, the less skin on your fingers, and that makes a difference when it comes to friction. 40 seconds left on the clock. Come on now. He's the only one in the final who has not started at the World Cup yet. Of course, he's a youth athlete. He's climbed in the European Youth Cups and is definitely the young gun right now in this final of the Bouldering Summer Series.
No, he doesn't fancy another go at that. Just couldn't get that left hand to stick.
If you're wondering why all the climbers are taking their brushes, that's another precaution due to the current situation.
Yeah, they get their own brush all the way through the final.
Yeah,
I don't think you're allowed to bring. Are you allowed to bring your own? Do we know?
No, you're not.
You get given one.
Yeah, they're given one, because it could be like it could make a difference theoretically if one has a better brush than the other competitor. So they all handed the same brush, just to have a standard, to have the same.
So they don't get to bring. Someone doesn't get a carbon fiber one or a.
No.
Like an electric toothbrush. No.
Unfortunately not. An extendable toothbrush for the top hold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you joke, but you know, some of those small crimps.
Yeah. I mean, you see ventilators all the time on the rocks right now. Why not electric toothbrushes? And now we have.
Oh, a completely
Christoph.
different method.
Out on the mat, the same method as Max was using.
Yeah.
I would speculate that the Germans looked at the boulder together because Max was doing the exact same way. And he claims the zone. Can he go to the top?
Clever as well with the intermediate on the way across.
Yeah, I mean, there are always various ways to do a boulder. It just looks as if it would slightly take a little bit longer, this way of doing it. That's why Sasha's method might be slightly better. But climbers have proven me wrong for a lot of times already, so it's always hard to tell which method actually fits the climber. It's also an individual thing. But from this perspective behind the screen, I would favor Sasha's way. Come on, Gustav.
Again, going with the right hand. He's got so much contact strength, he just stops.
Yeah, now he has to cross over, which looks really, really tough, but he manages to get the zone again. Will he be able to stick that green volume out right? Not quite. 18 years young. Christoph from Ingolstadt, Germany.
Very nice part of the world.
Yeah, and he's deciding to use a little bit of liquid chalk. Sometimes it helps dry the skin a little bit. It's a little bit better than the normal chalk, especially if it's warm. Some climbers really prefer liquid chalk.
1 minute to go. Christoph Schweiger, second of 3 Germans appearing in this final, somehow manages to hang on to that. He might not be the most experienced climber in this final, but he's certainly one of the strongest.
Yeah, and he showed us in the semi-final that he really likes physical problems. Flash Boulder #1 in semis and can't quite get it together on Boulder #3.
I don't think it's worth another go, is it? Not with 20 seconds left. Don't forget your brush. There we go.
Physical boulders are really tiring, and if you get down and don't really have the chance to actually shake out again, then that's very hard. Yeah, he goes up with the right hand, just like Max. Slightly complicated method. We saw Sasha going out with the left hand, which looked slightly better in my opinion. It just looked a little bit as if you could save that tiny little bit of energy that you'll use or need for the top part. And now I would be surprised if Jakob wouldn't climb this boulder. He likes powerful problems, and yeah, let's see if it actually works out for him. Hard to get the foot up for
Such
Jakob.
a great competitor, Jakob. I've said a few times, maybe the best competitor at the IFSC for just, he seems to be able to get his season to peak at the right time. He seems to be able to find a way to win in different circumstances. Really kind of, he gets comps.
Yeah, he's definitely a competitor at heart. He likes competing, although this final is hard for him so far. But once he is able to hold holds, he usually doesn't let go. And this is the steep part of the wall. Come on, Jakob.
So he goes out right
He
first.
should like this one.
Then onto the zone. This is second attempt, Jakob Schubert. And already he's lining it up for the top. Just gets a hand on the top like Sasha Lehmann. Can't stay there.
Yeah, same as Sasha. Jakob is brushing the holds. He has not the best method for the lower part yet. He could save some energy there, I think.
Given that we've had climbers as strong as Jakob and Sasha going for the top, neither really looked like they could do it. I mean, could try going 2 hands at the same time. I mean, what?
No, I think the method is correct.
You think?
Going 2 hands would... I believe that the hold is not good enough for doing a double dyno at this height.
Right.
I think he has to actually compress with the zone, but maybe be able to reach it a little bit higher. I think Jakob will be taking his time now, and yeah, I think he's got it in him to top this boulder. Let's see if it works out.
Suddenly looking tired on that attempt, Jakob. That was attempt number 3. It was attempt number 2 that he got the closest.
Yeah, he is having a hard time getting the foot onto that red volume. Once he grabs the crimp, I think he's in a better position, but it's hard to actually get it. Come on, Jakob. And now he's got it. Come on, now go left.
So he's going right then left again. Now needs to get in position.
That's what counts. Come on now.
So strong, Jakob Schubert. Went with one hand only, stayed there, and brought the left up to join it. Such powerful climbing.
Yeah,
and
nice
you're absolutely
job.
right about the method. I don't know why I'm surprised, but
Well, nice job from Jakob there. I was nervous for a minute, but he showed that he has got the experience. He is a world-class climber, and he is the first one to top Boulder number 3, which was very important. Shaking his head there, not 100% satisfied by his performance so far. It's been up and down.
Philip Martin, who was actually in the lead of the competition briefly, is the final climber out.
He's also one who likes physical problems. We could see that on Boulder number 1 in semifinals. Made quick work of that. And of course he knows that if he would be able to challenge Jakob Schubert, then that's the Boulder. That's the way right now. That's the time.
Well, if he tops this Boulder, he'll actually move into the lead.
Exactly. So if he wants to challenge Jakob, or if he wants to compete or beat Jakob, then that's definitely his day. And he makes very quick work of the zone. Can he get the top in the first attempt? No.
Almost looked like he was falling before he even touched the hold. I'm not sure if his left foot moved or something, but he at least knows he can get to the last move.
Yeah, now it's about resting smart for Philip Martin. Needs to take his time because attempts on this physical boulder are tiring. And this last move is very difficult because your feet are so high, your hands are not that good, and you have to kind of be able to go for it and then hold that top volume, which is not a jog.
So he's setting off with more than 2 minutes remaining, so clearly saving enough time for another good attempt.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Not sure if that's the best idea, but he seems super motivated. Come on, Philip.
Climbing so quickly through that lower section. He's not actually using that much energy, I don't think. Here he goes again. Goes a little further left on the top hole this time.
Yeah, sometimes it is hard to actually take that rest because you know that you're motivated, you want to start into the boulder, you don't want to waste much time. But it definitely helps to take your time, especially if you're falling on the last move.
Now surely he'll take a slightly longer rest now and really just go 100% for this last attempt. About to tick down to 1 minute left.
Yeah, back on the wall already.
Well, the speed he climbs the lower section, he's probably got time for 2 attempts. It's just, has he got the energy?
Yeah, the problem is not the time, the problem is the power.
Yeah.
This is a powerful boulder and he is running out of power. The first attempt looked very strong for Martin Philipp. He's giving it another go, but I'd be really surprised if he could make it to the top right now. Of course, I'm crossing my fingers for Philipp. Come on. Ah. Yeah.
Left hand slips as he goes up.
And I believe it is interesting to see the difference there between climbers like Jakob Schubert, who is a world-class athlete, and Martin Philipp, who was, in my opinion, slightly using too many attempts there. Yeah, the first attempt was really strong, but then you could see that it was just being hard on him, especially falling on the last move for multiple times. And we're moving on to problem number 4 with Jakob in the lead.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, actually, Max can't win the competition now. The bottom 3 climbers can't win it.
But will he be the first one to have 4 zones?
Yes.
He could be.
Certainly stands a chance.
He climbed strong throughout this final. Sadly, no top so far for Max Kleesattel, Team Germany.
These pink and black volumes, the same ones that were on the wall for the women's final. The route setters managed to use them for both, which saves them a lot of work and a lot of time, which was quite crucial today. The turnaround times have been very short. And you can see the zone is the whole of that pink and black volume, the middle one.
Yeah, interesting dyno there. The red hold is not good enough to stop, so you gotta go straight to the zone, basically.
And it's not a bad hold on the zone. It's not great, but
the black
one
one
you're
on the
stopping
zone,
on,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not a bad hold. No, you're right. But you have to be able to stop with the feet and the hand at the same time, so it's a coordinated move. Well, it's tricky to get the timing just right. Come on, Max.
tried to stop that time. As you say, it's not a good enough hold to stop, especially because you're moving right when you catch it. So when you initially land, it probably doesn't feel too bad, and then it just feels worse and worse.
Wow.
Or you could just clamp the foothold.
I think the route setters didn't predict or weren't looking for that method and can't quite get to the zone, but that's a clever method from Max. And Max is a climber who has shown us a lot of different methods already. If we think back to the slab, he was the one who used the undercling.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good skill to have in bouldering. You have to be able to adapt to different methods, and he's definitely a very creative climber.
Almost completely dark here now in the arena, apart from the lights on the stage. It's got a much more World Cup feel to it than it did earlier on.
That's true, you can't see the empty seats as well as you did before. And now I believe he will be able to get the zone. Come on, Max. Yes.
That's
nice
really
job.
nice work. Really imaginative.
Now placing the foot above his hand and moving over to this crimp.
Got time on his side. That beat was for 1 minute to go, so he doesn't need to rush this attempt at all.
Will this be the first top for German athlete Max Kleesattel?
Here he goes,
looks-
Max, lining it up just on that little crimp before the top
on, Max.
hole, just to get himself set.
And he completely it seemed as if he might have forgotten about the crimp on the right hand side on the purple volume. Maybe he could have turned it. Maybe that would
He's pulling
help
straight,
him extend to the top hold.
pulling straight on for another go, but hard to believe he's got much energy left, and he doesn't.
That was super close for Max, but he claimed 4 zones, which was a strong performance. Good job for Max, but of course we would have wished to see a top in boulder number 4.
So let's have another look. So you can see that crimp above his right hand, that one there, a bit further on. He should have flipped his right hand round. Maybe at that point there when he was looking quite solid. He had a look at it, maybe just didn't
feel
like
right for him, yeah.
No. He definitely knew it was there because he'd used it earlier on. What can
Yeah, and he
Sasha
had a
Lehmann
look.
do?
Now we have the World Cup winner of Switzerland, Sasha Lehmann, back on the mats. Lots of strong climbers from Switzerland throughout many years of competitions. If you think back to Cédric Clachat, Swiss French machine, excuse me, or Matthias Müller, another Swiss athlete who used to compete back in the days. And now we have Sasha Lehmann in this bouldering final, very young climber. He is 22 years young.
Switzerland don't yet have any men qualified for the Olympics. Of course, they've got Petra through on the women's side, but slots still available in the Olympics. I assume Sasha's got one eye, more than one eye, on the European Championships.
Has one eye on it, and he proved to be talented indeed, both bouldering and lead climbing. So he has definitely chances to qualify. Although at the European Championship, only one spot available. Come on, Sasha. Wow, nice.
That is
beautiful movement there.
Yeah, textbook how you do that move.
This boulder. Wow.
Yeah, the camera didn't quite pick that up from the other angle. There is actually a little thing to put your foot on there. Little black screw on hold.
Come on, Sasha. He was so close on boulder number 3 already. He's really looking for a top here. Running out the energy. Sasha Lehmann. But he is a World Cup athlete, and he knows what it feels like to be in a bouldering World Cup final. Placed 4th in the World Cup in Chongqing last year. And now he takes his time to brush the hold. Really looking forward to see this move again to the zone. He did executed that move beautifully. And of course we want to see a top on boulder number 4 for Sasha Lehmann.
I do feel slightly sorry for Sasha.
Yeah, for sure he's not satisfied for his performance now.
He had a really funny semi-final where it didn't feel like it was going well, but he ended up 4th. But it didn't feel like a good day, but it ended up being a good result. It was a really strange one.
Yeah, that's true. And of course he's aiming for a top here on boulder number 4. Didn't get one yet. He has to forget about all the other boulders and concentrate solemnly on this one now. It's such a cool move to the zone. I hope he'll be able to do it again. Yes, sticks it. Nice.
He really does it as 2 movements.
Yeah, he does it really cool with 2 double dynos, one after the other. And it's a really change of style in this boulder. First you gotta go fast, and then you have to control the last part to the top hold. And we have to say goodbye to Sasha.
So Sasha Lehmann's day here in Innsbruck is over.
Such a cool move.
It's a brilliant move. Stefan Rest now of Salzburg, as you mentioned earlier.
And it was a close attempt from Sasha. 3 zones. Didn't quite manage to get the zone on boulder number 2. All the other bonus zone holds he's got. And now it's up for Stefan.
So if Stefan can top this, it'll move Sasha Lehmann down to 6th. But even a zone won't be enough to move him up the order. So the top moves him up.
Wow. Almost, but not quite. Bah.
Can't get much closer.
No, I think the next attempt he'll stick it. He knows what he has to do on boulder number 4. Stefan claimed the top zone hold in the first boulder. Was not able to stick the zone on the other 2, but sticks the zone on boulder number 4 in a beautiful way. Now come on, Stefan. Come on, Steph. Crimp hard. Come on.
Really got to keep that right foot on.
Yeah, definitely. If you lose your feet, then it's that much harder on your right hand. I think Stefan is definitely happy to be in final in such a strong field. A lot of other teammates did not make it, but he made it into the finals. He has 2 zones now, and maybe we can see a top on boulder number 4 for Stefan Rest.
You see the route setting team over there on the right, all taking photos of him.
Oh.
I think some of them are back next week, aren't they, for round 2 of the Summer Series? I think Andy's back.
Yes, some route setters are back, you're right. I believe Joch is back and Andy. Not sure about Dirk and Matthias Wojcik though.
Don't think so. I think Jorg and Andy. Jorg only lives down the road. I mean, you might as,
yeah,
might as well come along.
Joch can bike to the Kletterzentrum. Of course, in Innsbruck you can always use a bike, even if you live at the other side of town, like myself. Innsbruck has 120,000 inhabitants, so it's not the biggest city, which makes it nice to bike all the distances from one end to the other.
Especially if you've got a bike with a battery. I caved in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, e-bikes are definitely in the coming. And now Stefan is back on the zone. Come on now. Press hard and then crimp hard. Oh.
Can't find a way. I think he's going to run out of time.
He's giving it one more go.
He is, but he's already got the zone, so it's hard to imagine getting to the top from here in that time.
It's his first international adult final. He has not been in the World Cup yet. So good job to Stefan.
Yeah, finishes the day in 6th place. Just the one zone, but really he couldn't lose tonight. It was a huge bonus just to be here and be climbing at this level.
Definitely gained experience there, yeah. Didn't quite have enough to finish boulder number 4. But he had a very good attempt.
So Jakob Schubert leading the way, Philip Martin in 2nd, Christoph Schweiger in 3rd, and it is Christoph Schweiger who's out next. So a top here will move him into 1st place. He could still win the competition. Needs to top the boulder, he would then have 2 tops, 3 zones.
Yeah, these guys keep the excitement level high. This boulder is going to decide on who will be the winner of the first Austrian Summer Series competition. Christoph Schweiger is the first one to come out from the top 3.
So powerful to hang on to that move. We didn't actually have the camera angle.
Such a cool move.
It looked like his feet touched down. Clearly not.
And so far only Max had a different method on this first move to the zone. All the others did it the way the route setters intended it to be. Oh, Christoph is not quite sure about his method. Takes his time there to rock over. And can't quite get to the crimp yet.
Just held his lower back then. Doesn't look a very comfortable move. Maybe.
Yeah,
just
hopefully
a slight
he has
tweak.
no issues there. I know what back pain feels like. And but Christoph is taking a proper look at the boulder. He's taking his time.
Well, whatever happens, he's going to finish on the podium. The top 3 is decided. It's just the order that isn't, and it is the remaining 3 climbers. So been set up nicely here.
Yes.
This final, very casual the way he just skips across.
Can only repeat myself by saying that that's such a cool move. And now, come on, yeah, it would be the correct beta. Of course, there are always different betas, but wow, now he's going.
He's done well to get his foot underneath his arm.
Yeah.
One minute 15 you can see there on the clock.
Yeah, 1 minute left for Christoph.
He's got a really nice way of doing this first move.
Yeah, he's doing that great. I mean, look at this movement. Oh.
Just missed with the feet there, I think.
Yeah, it's a very coordinated move. You have to have the same timing with the hand and the feet, and now he got it again. Perfect. And now it'll be interesting to see whether he places his foot inside again. Wow. Definitely a tough solution, but it seems to work for Christoph.
Can't quite hang on to that last crimp, and I think he's calling it a day.
Yeah, he does, but he can definitely be proud of himself. He placed on the podium here in Innsbruck at the Austrian Summer Series.
Yeah, quite an incredible result.
A very good result for Christoph, for sure.
Amazing result. That was him just going for that last crimp. A move too far after a spectacular couple of days here. Here's Jakob Schubert. Got 2 bags full of equipment. I'm not sure what he's got planned. But
I mean, in semi-finals we saw him change shoes.
Yeah.
So maybe there are another pair of shoes in the bag of Jakob. We'll ask him after this competition. Usually he's always deciding between the Solution or the Futura from La Sportiva. And now we want to see a top of Boulder number 4. If one can do it, then in my opinion that's Jakob.
If he does top it, it means he wins the competition. Just misses slightly on that first attempt at the jump. Doesn't matter though. It won't matter about attempts. If he tops it, he wins. It's that simple.
Yeah, he can take his time, but he needs to find a solution for this first part of the boulder. I think if he actually manages to get the crimp on the purple volume, then the boulder is his. But that's a wild speculation from my side again. Let's see if he manages the first jump. Yes, he does. Come on, Jakob.
Just trying to figure out how to get the foot up. We mentioned earlier on in the semi-final, not the most flexible climber.
No, definitely not. He's working on it, but it's hard for him. Yeah, he needs to get to this crimp up on the purple volume. If he gets to the crimp, then that's definitely his style. Will he get there though? Jakob is Innsbruck, born and bred, as you say, hometown hero.
And still a resident?
He's still a resident here, yes. And during the Corona lockdown, or once the restrictions were eased, he took advantage of the many climbing areas that are close by. So he was able to climb a lot outside, even when the gym was still closed, because there are actually a lot of areas in the close vicinity of Innsbruck.
Minute and a half for Jakob to find a way.
Yeah, I reckon he'll use the time to take a proper look at the boulder, take some rest, and maybe give it another go when the 1 minute beep appears.
So Jakob pulls back on it. Only just got his left foot on and just missed the jump that time.
Yeah, Jakob is struggling. But I believe he can still do it. 1 minute on the clock, plenty of time. Yes, no. with it nicely.
This time he gets it. Now got to try and figure out some way of getting his foot high.
Yes, places the heel on this tiny little screw hold. And it slips off. Too bad for Jakob.
And he decides he does not have time for another go. Says hi to, I was about to say the crowd, says hi to his team. And heads back in.
Yeah, he's had enough from this boulder. Too bad. We can still... Yeah, he had a hard time getting the foot up. Although the heel hook looked quite promising. Wasn't able to get to this black hand crimp just above his head there.
So the scenario is quite simple for Jakob. It's quite simple for Philip Martin as well. If he tops the boulder, then he wins the competition. He'll have 2 tops and 4 zones. Move ahead of Jakob on number of zones.
Yeah, and we'll definitely want to see a top of boulder number 4.
I have to say, when you look at the boulders, you kind of try to picture which ones will be the toughest ones. I thought this would see some tops.
Yeah, it's always so hard to predict, right? I mean, it's hard to know what the climbers are feeling once they're on the fourth boulder. So far, we've seen most tops on boulder number 2. That is the slab. Martin Philipp topped it, and Schweiger Christoph, both German athletes. And we've seen 1 top from Jakob Schubert on boulder number 1. Not too many tops so far in this bouldering final.
No, just 4 across the final. It's been a hard set.
Definitely a very hard set. But Philipp can be the one who tops boulder number 4, and that would put him in the first place. He's struggling with that first coordinative move. But he's shown a very strong performance today. He was looking super strong in semifinals.
So he's got the jump done.
Come on, Philipp.
This one is for the win.
Yeah, that's the way. Come on. He needs to get over to this right hand crimp.
Just coming up a little short, as I say. It's top or nothing.
Yeah, Sascha Lehmann from Switzerland was actually the closest one on boulder number 4 so far. He was almost, or he was at the hold before the top, at the very top part of the wall.
So 90 seconds left to decide who wins the first of the Austrian Climbing Summer Series.
Come on, man.
Now can't repeat that move. Jakob Schubert with his 2 tops and 3 zones, it could be enough.
Of course, it's hard to be the last athlete out on the mats for Philipp. He knows that he's an underdog in this final. But this could also be his advantage. Come on.
So this was the move where he fell last time.
Yeah, come on, Philipp. This can decide.
Could he find the win? Can he do the hand swap? What method will he use? This for the win for Philip Martin. Oh, and he tries the hand swap.
Struggling there for a tiny second. It seems as if he couldn't quite decide what to do. It could have been hers.
So it is Jakob Schubert who wins. We talked earlier about what a great competitor he is, always finds a way. Let's be honest, he got a bit of luck today. But it's funny, the more you practice, the luckier you get. But this was when Philip Martin nearly got past him. I think he got a massive surge of adrenaline here. He suddenly seemed to move much faster.
Yeah, this was definitely the decisive moment. He hesitated for a second there, wasn't quite sure what to do. And then...
he half tried to do it. Tried to do it without looking.
Yeah, he can still be proud of himself. Philipp Martin climbed superbly tonight, although he might not be 100% happy with this last move on boulder number 4.
And for the German speakers amongst you, we've got an interview with a man Anna knows reasonably well. Kilian Fischhuber is down with our reporter from ORF. We'll be back with him in just a second.
Spannend bis zum letzten Griff und der Sieg geht an Österreich auch im Herren-Boulder-Finale. Jakob Schubert holt sich das spannende Finale und bis zum letzten Griff, wie gesagt, hätte der Konkurrent aus Deutschland den Griff noch geschafft, dann wäre er sich nach Deutschland gegangen. Kilian Fischhuber, Europameister, zweifacher Vize-Weltmeister, mehrfacher Gesamtweltcup-Sieger und jetzt Nationalteamtrainer, steht bei mir. Wie spannend war es am Schluss?
Ja, es war doch sehr, sehr spannend. Ich meine, es war schon unwahrscheinlich, dass die zwei jungen Deutschen so locker ins Finale geht. Und die haben jetzt unsere Österreicher sehr gefordert und auch einige von unseren Routiniers rausgedrängt. Und jetzt am Schluss fast noch den Jakob den Sieg weggeklettert. Also es war schon echt frech von denen, aber auch ganz cool. Wenn der Philipp Martin den letzten Boulder geklettert wäre, dann hätte er gewonnen. Also es war wirklich bis zum Schluss die Entscheidung offen.
Jakob Schubert hat gleich am Anfang sofort angegriffen, hat er da seine Stärken ausgespielt, dass er sofort einen Slash geschafft hat und da wahrscheinlich auch mental vorgelegt hat?
Ja, bei uns beim Bouldern ist halt wichtig, was einem liegt, wo man gut ist. Im ersten Boulder war er super, hat das auch gut ausgespielt. In der Platte hat er oftmals so seine Schwächen und da hat er auch ein bisschen gepatzt und das hätte ihm dann letzten Endes auch den Sieg kosten können.
Mit welchen Erkenntnissen gehen Sie als Nationalteamtrainer jetzt aus diesem ersten Wettkampf nach dieser schwierigen Zeit?
Ja, wir lernen immer was. Ich glaube, die Athleten haben wieder mal was dazugelernt. Es war vielseitig, sehr schwierig. Ich denke mal, gerade bei den Platten- und Bewegungssachen ist der Jakob sicher noch, wo er noch dazulernen muss und sich noch verbessern muss, denke ich mal.
Im Gesamten trotzdem ein verdienter Sieg. Und ich würde sagen, wir schauen auch gleich zur Siegerehrung, wo sich die jungen Herren ihre Siege abholen.
Der Präsident des österreichischen Kletterverbandes bringt Blumen an das Fest für Christoph Schweiger. Auf der 2, ein Top in 3 Versuchen. Da war noch alles drin auf dem letzten Boulder. Gratulation, Philipp Martin, Deutschland. Gratulieren auf Abstand, muss gelernt sein und er als der Sieger des Auftakts bei der Austrian Climbing Summer Series 2020, er kommt aus Österreich, Jakob Schubert. Und das nach einem Siegern im Semifinale ganz um Jakob Schubert. Philipp Martin auf der 2 und Christoph Schweiger auf der 3. Gratulation, liebe Jungs. Jetzt geht's ans Autogramme schreiben an die 1000 mitgereisten Fans. Beziehungsweise sehen wir einander morgen wieder im Speed und nächste Woche im zweiten Boulderbewerb. Jetzt gibt es natürlich noch die Interviews, die Ruhe meinerseits, die Gratulation an die Athleten. Jetzt wirklich alles gegeben haben. Bis morgen bzw. nächste Woche.
Schubert Jakob holt sich also den Boulder-Sieg im Finale der Herren. Damit gehen beide Siege an Österreich, sowohl bei den Damen als auch bei den Herren. Aber es war knapp bis zum letzten Griff des deutschen Konkurrenten. Wie zittert man dann als Athlet selber mit, wenn man nichts mehr machen kann und nur darauf hoffen kann, dass der Konkurrent jetzt den Fehler macht?
Ja, ich meine, ich hoffe jetzt auch nicht unbedingt auf den Fehler vom Konkurrent. Wenn er den Boulder macht, dann war er an dem Abend einfach besser und dann hat er das auch verdient zu gewinnen. War jetzt der zweite Platz dann auch okay gewesen. Er ist echt super gebouldert im Finale, aber natürlich freut man sich, wenn es dann doch gereicht hat.
Und es hat auf jeden Fall gereicht. Es war zwar knapp, auch im Semifinale und auch jetzt im Finale bis zum Schluss gezittert. Was hat im Endeffekt aber trotzdem den Ausschlag für den Sieg gegeben? Was waren die Qualitäten, die Sie heute an den Tag gelegt haben?
Ja, ich glaube generell meine Stärke ist normal sind die physischen Boulder, also nicht so unbedingt die technischen, sondern eher die, wo man einfach seine Fitness zeigen kann. Und Gott sei Dank hat es in dem Finale 2 Boulder gegeben, wo ich das demonstrieren habe können, dass ich gut in Form bin und ja, ich habe sozusagen meine Stärken gut ausgespielt, leider auch meine Schwächen gezeigt, aber Gott sei Dank waren die Stärken überwiegend und so hat es dann für den Sieg gereicht. Aber man sieht, dass auf jeden Fall noch was da ist, an dem man arbeiten kann.
Sie haben auf jeden Fall fulminant losgelegt und gleich mit einem Flash losgelegt. Nimmt Sie sich das bewusst vor oder merkt man einfach während dem Bouldern, dass da jetzt was gehen würde und dann traut man sich ein bisschen mehr als vielleicht sonst?
Ja, ich meine, generell will man natürlich sowieso jeden Bowler flashen, das ist natürlich der Optimalfall und es ist natürlich auch sehr wichtig, gut in eine Runde reinzustarten. Also wenn man gleich einen guten Start im ersten Bowler hinlegt, überhaupt gleich mit einem Flash startet, nimmt es natürlich viel Druck und auch Nerven für die nächsten Bowler weg. Aber es war vor allem auch so, eben, dass der erste Bowler bei der Besichtigung habe ich schon gesehen, das ist einer, der kommt mir zugute. Da geht es vor allem um Fingerkraft und um Körperpower und von dem her bin ich da mit sehr viel Selbstvertrauen reingestartet.
Klettern ist überhaupt ein mental sehr anspruchsvoller Sport und ist eine wichtige Komponente. Jetzt waren die letzten Monate nicht einfach, vor allem zum Planen sehr schwer. Wie ist es Ihnen da gegangen?
Ja, ich meine, natürlich, es war für jeden, glaube ich, nicht ganz so leicht, vor allem natürlich während dem Lockdown. Bin es nicht gewohnt, nicht in die Kletterhalle gehen zu dürfen oder überhaupt einfach nicht zu klettern. Ich bin ein sehr bewegungsfreudiger Mensch, von dem her war ich halt beschränkt auf Hangboard-Sessions daheim und war halt dann umso froher und umso motivierter, wo ich dann auch wieder klettern habe dürfen. Von dem her war es nicht, dass es noch nicht sicher war, wann die Bewerber sein werden, war jetzt nicht so schwierig, weil ich einfach generell extrem motiviert war, wieder zu klettern und so eigentlich auch relativ schnell wieder in eine gute Form gekommen bin, weil einfach die Freude und die Motivation so groß waren am Sport.
Den Beweis haben Sie heute auf jeden Fall an den Tag gelegt. Wie geht es jetzt weiter in der Serie? Was nehmen Sie sich für die weiteren Bewerbe vor?
Ja, ich meine, ich habe jetzt natürlich super losgelegt, aber es geht nicht immer nur um die Platzierung. Also gerade jetzt bei den nationalen bzw. bei der Summer Series, das ist jetzt noch nicht eine Weltmeisterschaft, noch nicht der Weltcup. Von dem her sind es vor allem auch wichtige Bewerbe, um an Sachen zu arbeiten oder was daraus zu lernen, sage ich mal. Von dem her, ich habe heute gewonnen, das ist mega geil, aber es waren trotzdem Sachen, an die ich auf jeden Fall, was ich falsch gemacht habe und an die ich arbeiten muss und das nehme ich mir natürlich für die nächsten Bewerbe vor. Und ja, natürlich wäre es schön, wenn nochmal ein Einser dabei rauskommt.
Wir wünschen auf jeden Fall viel Erfolg und herzliche Gratulation noch einmal zum heutigen Sieg.
Vielen Dank.
Danke sehr. Herzlichen Dank, Jakob Schubert. Anna Stör hat auch schon zu uns gefunden, unsere Expertin für den heutigen Tag, sowohl bei den Damen als auch jetzt bei den Herren. Welchen Eindruck hatten Sie vom Herrenfinale?
Ja, es war wieder eine sehr harte Runde. Wir haben gesehen, es hat eigentlich sehr wenige Tops wirklich gegeben. Die Routenbauer haben da wirklich schwere Probleme an die Wand gezaubert und am Ende hat doch der Favorit gesiegt, aber man hat gesehen, dass es heute wirklich eine sehr, sehr schwierige Runde war.
Welchen Aspekt spielt, wenn man wirklich beim ersten Boulder gleich einen Flash schafft? Gibt es einem wirklich so viel Push als Athlet, wenn man dann oben an der Wand hängt?
Ja, es ist wirklich wahnsinnig viel wert, wenn man den ersten Boulder gleich im Flash hinter einem lässt. Es gibt einfach ein irres Selbstvertrauen und es ist ganz wichtig auch für die nächsten und kommenden Boulder.
Welchen Eindruck hatten Sie auch vom zweiten Österreicher im Feld, Stefan
Rest,
genau. Wie hat er Ihnen gefallen?
Ja, der Stefan hat sich halt wirklich sehr gut, sehr tapfer geschlagen. Es war, wie gesagt, eine sehr schwierige Runde. Man darf nicht vergessen, es ist sein erster Auftritt bei einem internationalen Bewerb in der Herrenkategorie. Also Hut ab vom Stefan. Ja, und ich denke, das nächste Mal werden wir noch mehr sehen.
Was erwarten Sie sich da von der nächsten Runde, von den nächsten Bewerben dieser Serie?
Ja, ich glaube, es wird auf jeden Fall spannend. Es sind einige Herren und auch einige Damen, die jetzt wirklich dieses Mal nicht auf ihre Rechnung gekommen sind. Einige Favoriten, wie beispielsweise der Yannick Floé, der Nikolai Uschnik, der Jan-Luca Bosch, sind diesmal nicht auf die Rechnung gekommen. Die werden ganz heiß sein für das nächste Mal, für den nächsten Donnerstag. Ja, und wir werden sehen, wie es ihnen dann läuft.
Wir freuen uns auf jeden Fall schon darauf. Danke, Anna Stör. Herzlichen Dank für die Unterstützung heute. Und wie gesagt, nächsten Donnerstag am 16. Juli sind wir wieder live mit dabei. Um 17 Uhr und um 20.15 Uhr mit dem Finale der Damen- und Herrenbewerbe in der Austrian Climbing Summer Series. Es gibt auch noch weiterhin mehr Sport. Morgen um 13 Uhr die Pressekonferenz zum Formel 1 Grand Prix von Österreich. Österreich aus Spielberg. Also auch da einiges Spannendes für Sie zum Schauen. Und damit sage ich danke, dass Sie heute mit dabei waren. Seien Sie bitte auch nächste Woche mit dabei. Wir freuen uns auf Sie. Gute Nacht und einen schönen Abend noch.